because this is very important. And as we have done already the first live stream, I've seen, as I'm reading to your comments and some of the live comments that I receive from people who are watching, I get this feeling, and I've been getting this ever since the war between Israel and Palestine, came about. I've been reading comments, I've been hearing people, I've been seeing, and I've been, just watching and just taking it in. All right, 2 months ago, here at Swahili Nation, we did the very first stream talking about the war that is happening. And our point, it was, where is Africa in this? What I meant is, what is it going to happen to Africa if this is going on? Because at the moment, there's not war that will break out outside of Africa, and we're not going to be included. And this is the reason. The reason is this: because we are not yet independent. So if our supporters are Chinese, if our supporters are France, if our supporters are Americans, and something break out outside of Africa, somewhere there, our governments, our politicians, sometimes they don't even have anything to say. They don't have any side to take. Why? Because they're afraid of the backlash, what's going to happen if they take one side. So we're living in a community as Africans. We find ourselves that we don't have the personal opinion. We don't have opinions that we can share about ourselves. We don't have this freedom to share our opinions because we are afraid of how people will look at us. We're afraid of what's going to happen to us when we speak our mind. And this is one of the very reasons why we started with this community of SNOA. We started this community for one specific reason, that this is going to be the place where we'll be ourselves, the place where we'll share truth, radical truth as it is, the place where we'll share our opinion, the way we think, the way we process. It doesn't matter. If my opinion is wrong, you can actually criticize me with your opinion as well. All right, this is that place. This is why we created this space, and this is why we started this space. That's one of the things. And another thing, this space, we created this place for Africans, because we don't have a lot of spaces like this that we can be ourselves, a lot of places like this that we can talk about our things without being scared. All right, and I know we're being censored a lot of time here at SNOA. We're being censored because if you're not siding with their agenda, the YouTube's agenda or TikTok agenda, then you can be censored. It's very easy. Or TikTok agenda, you can be censored. They can just cut down your, they can take you out of the logarithm, YouTube logarithm. And you guys, I think you've seen, we have been going through that since November. Since November, our YouTube channel has been limited in that sense. All right, whenever we share our content, you can see the response, how it is, and they have been limiting us. But that never stopped us. That never stopped us to shut down. That never stopped us to stop talking, because we know that the revolution or the change begins with conversation. When we sit down and we talk, and then when we sit down, we're enlightening each other, that we understand that the knowledge is power that we share with one another, then we can do something about that knowledge. And what is happening right now in the continent, because of what is happening in the war outside there, it's awful. It's not beautiful. All right, today in the afternoon, 3 hours ago, I came here, I shared the picture, and I shared the news about one of our brothers who was brutally tortured, brutally killed. The news, it's official, and it has been going on for like over 4 months, because he was captured 4 months ago and finally was killed. And he was being filmed as he was being killed. But what we get from sharing this news is that we get Africans, which is really sad. And I'm going to tell you guys the truth, that this is very, 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 very sad reality of Africans right now. It has been before, it is right now, and I am concerned that it is going to continue to be like that in the future as well. And before we get there, we must decolonize our mind, and we must start looking from the inside. So the title of this message today, I want to talk about Africans. You must be on the right side. And I'll tell you which side I think is right. between the war that is happening right now. I'll tell you which side I think is right and which side that Africans, all Africans, must take it, regardless of any personal opinion, regardless of any feeling, regardless of anything that you might have. But there must be the side of Africans that have to take. There must be a side that Africans will be like, you know what, we are for this. And I shared this 3 hours ago, and I'm going to share this right now, that the side that Africans must take in this war that is happening right now is Africa. Is Africa. I shared the news of a guy, of a young man just like me, of our brother and our friend that has been tortured, killed on the spot. He did nothing wrong. He was begging for his life, and someone was feeling this. And these Hamas people, they killed him right there on the spot, sharing that. And you have people who are saying that I am being paid to say this. All right, I'll ask you this. You guys are following us here at Swahili Nation for a while. One of the videos that I shared yesterday is Malema criticizing Israel. And we all know South Africa is on the side of Palestine. And it's clear, it's open. We shared the video yesterday, Malema talking about that. We've been sharing those videos all the time. If I have a side in this war, the only news that I'll come here and share with you guys, it will be from one side. I don't have one. I don't have any side, because my side is Africa. So when you go out and you touch my people, regardless of who you are, regardless whether you're Hamas, you're Palestine, you're Israel, you are American, you're France, you are whoever, German, regardless of who you are, I don't care, man. When you touch my people, I'm not come after you, and I do not care of anybody else's opinion about my stand, but I'm going to stand with my people. So when I see this video of my brother being killed, Joshua Molel, remember that name, Joshua Molel, I remember about myself that it could be me who just went for education in Israel and been captured by Hamas 4 months ago and been killed on the spot. On the spot, defenseless. I did not do anything wrong. Some people, they have a distance to comment that what was he doing in the war zone. Man, when war break out, do you know? When Hamas attacked Israel, did anyone know that it's going to happen? If you're there as a student, just riding your bike on the street, you're running here and there, and then all of a sudden people are coming, they take you out and they torture you like that, kill you on the spot. Did you know? Are you God to know what is going to happen next? How can you ask such kind of stupid question that what was he doing in the war zone? What was he doing? Have you been in the war zone before? Your country's been in the war? Have you been out there and you actually see what is happening when you're in the country that is going through a war? Do you think people want to be killed in the war? Even soldiers, they don't want to die in the war. They want to survive. That's why they must kill whoever that come towards them so that they may survive. You don't choose to be in a war. You don't have a choice to be there. And these people, these are brothers and sisters that they went outside to find education. So them being killed, them being tortured, when this happens to them, you can't stand out there as an African and start taking side. You can't stand out there and start thinking that I'm on the side of this. My side is Africa. Anything that has been done to my people, I'm going to stand against that no matter who is doing it. I don't care about who is doing it. Evil is evil, and whatever that you do to my people, I'm going to come after you. I don't care who are you. I don't care who are you. I don't care, and I'm not afraid. You understand what I'm saying? So Africa, we are losing direction, we're losing our focus because our mindset is really messed up. It's really colonized with these religions. Religion is what is hurting Africa right now in this war between Israel and Palestine. Because everybody has a side right now, and everybody talks about the side. Talk about the side because of their religion, because of what they believe. I'm telling you, man, I'll be very honest here. I'll be very honest. I'll be very honest here with you. I'll be very honest with you here. I'm saying this. Oh my God. Guys, give me a second. All right. I'll be very honest with you guys here. You know, I met Malema. I met Malema a month ago, I guess, a month ago something. And I respect him. I respect him for everything he does. I respect him for his passion for Africa. I respect him for the fights of One Africa. I respect him for being so vocal about what is happening in Africa. And I agree with him in so many things. But also the certain things I don't agree with him. Just like you guys might agree with me in some things, and there must be things that you don't agree with me. And that is okay, because we are free thinker. We must think for ourselves, and we must decide what we have to do. We must think for ourselves and must decide what to do. Man, the wrong is wrong. If you have people, Hamas, this group of people killing our people and our brother, man, and I am talking this first of all as an African, second as a Tanzanian, because this is my brother. This is a Tanzanian brother. And this is official, and this is real, and this happened not to one, but to 2 Tanzanians that were captured. I'm not sure about other Africans because I did not see that news, but these are 2 brothers that was captured, and the country has been trying to hold them, to take them back, has been trying to hold them back, but they've been killed. These are people. Does a single life of African does not matter when this happened? Why we cannot condemn that what is happening? Why we think that is propaganda when someone is really being killed? If you're a dad, if you're a mom, if you're a brother, if you're a sister, if you're a cousin, if you're whatever, and that happened to your brother and that happened to you, and people think it's propaganda, what are you gonna feel about it? And why people they think about that? Because we are taking sides. The only side that Africans should take is Africa. That's the side that Africa should take. How many wars we have in the continent going on? How many wars we have in the Sudan going on? Congo, things are happening there. Ethiopia, people are suffering there. You have Somalia, people are happening there. You have this western side of Africa, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, people are suffering there. You have Gabon, things are happening there. Entire continent, you have Zimbabwe, people are suffering there. You have everywhere in the continent, people are suffering. Everywhere in the continent, people are suffering. And we're taking sides of something that has nothing to do with us. What I'm trying to say is this: our side, first and foremost, must be Africa. Must be Africa. Must be Africa, regardless of what we believe, regardless of our religion, regardless of our sympathy with, regardless of anything, because you must take care of home first before you take care of somewhere else. And our people have been killed here. I don't like victimizing myself, because it doesn't give me a feeling of doing something to bring about change. And I'm kind of guy that I love taking responsibility. And I'm kind of guy that I'm a free thinker. You know, I don't care what people think, what I say about, but what I care is my intentions are right. And I think in this case, everything, whether the war is happening between Russia and Ukraine or Palestine and Israel, I think Africans should always stick with Africa. That's why even the war that was happening between Russia and Ukraine, when they took our people, when the Ukraine took our people, and mistreating our people and taking them into war, we condemned it, we rebuked it, and I had a conversation here with Africans that were there to talk with them that this war has nothing to do with us. Bring our people home. We wrote letters to international organizations to ask them to bring our people back home during that war, because most of them, they were taken away, brought them to the war zone to fight for the battles that do not belong to them. We advocated for our people here for all that time until our people were taken back to the continent. We stood here and we did not take side here at SNOA. And what is happening right now, we're not taking sides. But if you touch our people, you're doing the wrong thing. I don't care whether you're Hamas. I don't care whether you're Israelite. I don't care whether you're Palestine. But if you touch our people, African people, if you touch them, then we're after you. And I think the only reason why Africa, we are not strong enough, the only reason why Africa, we do not have a common say, it is because we are divided because of our religion in this war. And we are too much concerned of what is happening there. I see a lot of Africans writing the numbers of people that have been killed there in Gaza. But these people, they do not even know the number of Africans that are being killed in the continent. This is hypocrisy, and this must stop. If you don't stop this, Africans will always be slaves of other people. We always care about other people and we're not taking care of our own homes. Charity begins at home, not anywhere else. If you do not take good care of your home, you cannot take care of anything else either. Otherwise, it's just going to be a matter of your opinions and hashtagging free this, free this. But what about Africans? Have you done it? Have you bring about solution to Africans? Taking lives of black people is very easy. Taking lives of black people is very easy. Taking lives of Africans is very easy. They don't even have to think about it. Simply because they're black. Simply because of that. This brother here, Morel, he has been killed simply because he's black. They don't even hesitate. Our people in the United States, our diaspora, our people are being killed there simply because they're black. Go anywhere, go to China, see how blacks are treated here. I had a video here to share of this South African lady who was beaten, abused by a Chinese teacher, and then the same school. She was abused, and I shared it here simply because she's black. I lived outside for 9 years, and you guys know, some of you who have been following me, you know my story, simply because I'm black. Black color, everywhere you go, you're being mistreated. Everywhere you go, you don't have home. But yet, we black people, we still don't learn it. We still do not learn that we need to stick together. Our side, the right side, must be Africa. Africa must be the only side of Africans. We should always choose and pick Africa, not anything else. We should always be concerned about Africa. We should always think about, standing about. We should always dream about, vision about Africa, nothing else but Africa. That's what we're supposed to do all the time. But it's sad that we don't do that. It's sad that we are concerned about other people. It is sad. And for me, it's hypocrisy. It is hypocrisy. It is hypocrisy. If you cannot defend your people, then what the heck are you doing? If you can't stand with your people, then what? Like, this is what we have to learn. Have you seen any other continent? Have you seen any other race care about other race more than themselves? Go to Asia. Those people, they care about themselves. When it comes to a matter of other nation and them, man, they'll always be first. Go to America. Go to Europe. Go to Australia. Go to all the continents, man. Go anywhere. That's what you will see. But only in Africa, you'll find Africans that are always concerned about other people's business. You'll find only Africans that will mistreat their own people of color, because and they will treat with respect other white people or other races. Only in Africa. You find Africans not care about other Africans. Only in Africa. Only in Africa. I don't find that anywhere else. And God has blessed me. I travel into multiple places. I've not seen that. Always they come first when it comes to their people. But only in Africa, we're not first. So our people has been killed. And the debate that is going on, you know what the debate is going on? That all this propaganda. Oh, you have been paid by Israel to do this. Oh, this and this. Oh, that and that. Man, you go and see the videos we upload. See the balance that is there. See what we do. We basically just share everything. But when it comes to my opinion, I will always choose and decide Africa. Be on the right side. And the right side of this story, of whatever that is happening, is Africa. Stick with Africans. Think about Africa. Embrace Africa. Dream about Africa. Pray for Africa. Africa, until the day we die. Africa. If we do not come together as one people, we're going to lose this war, because Africa has always been in a war. Africa, man, before independence, we had slave trade. Before colonialism, we had slave trade. And then during colonialism, and then right now, neo-colonialism, all this time we have been in a war. I said this in the morning, that Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali, they decided, they are working right now and realize that, okay, you know what? It's a time for us to hold the guns and to fight this war. We have been, quiet for so long, and nothing has changed in our countries. Now it's a time for us to step up our game and to fight against this bastard. And they've done it well. And friends are leaving out of Niger. They're leaving out of Mali. They left out of Burkina Faso. And Mali right now, they even cancel, Burkina Faso, they cancel French as the national language. They say, no, we don't want this to be our national language anymore. They decided to be on the right side. And the right side is what? Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, they came together as one people. If you come against one country, you come against all of them. ECOWAS, they made a lot of noises, when Niger kicked out France, but brought their own, another leader. But where are they right now? They're just making some noises. But if you stand with Africa, the unity is power. So my advice to Africans is this: pick your side, and your side should and must be Africa. If Africa is not your side, then probably you're not African, and you don't care anything about it. Why does it seem like it's legal to kill Africans anyway? Why does it seem like it's legal to take a life of African? Why? Joshua Molel, a Tanzanian brother who went to Israel with his vision, and he was a student. He had nothing to do with anything. He was simply riding his bike on the road, and he was captured. He was stabbed multiple times and killed on the spot with guns, and 3 to 4 to 5 men together torturing this man, and he was begging for his life as if they gave him life. The first president of Tanzania, J.K. Nyerere, he had 3 things that it was his priority. He said, in order for Africa to liberate herself, or Tanzania to liberate herself, he said, we should deal with ignorance, we should deal with diseases, and we should deal with ujinga, maradhi, and what else? I forgot the last thing. It was ujinga, maradhi. Oh man, there's another thing. Let me ask. Hivi zile tatu zile Nyerere alizokuwa nazo ni zipi? Ni ujinga, maradhi na nini? Nimekwambia ni nini ya tatu? Okay, yeah. 3 things Nyerere said is poverty, to deal with poverty. Yeah, thank you, Geoffrey. Poverty and ignorance and diseases. But if you think about these 3 things, so since he came, that was his target. He wanted to eradicate poverty in Tanzania. He wanted to eradicate diseases. He wanted to eradicate ignorance. But until right now, that did not happen. And in the entire continent of Africa, it did not happen. But you know what I think? I think we should pick one priority among all these 3. We should see, like, okay, what is the cause effect of diseases? What is the root cause effect of ignorance? What is the root cause effect of diseases and poverty? In my opinion, I think the top of all is ignorance. I think ignorance is what caused people to be sick. Ignorance is what caused people to be poor. So if you eradicate ignorance, if you give people proper education, if you decolonize the minds of Africans, then they're not going to be poor anymore, and they're not going to be ill anymore. Why? Because they'll have knowledge how to take care of their health, and they'll have knowledge how to deal with what? With their poverty. Because, okay, you can deal with poverty, but if people are ignorant, they're going to still live in their poverty. So I think education is top of all. So what we are doing here, our mission is to decolonize the mind through authentic knowledge. And whether we agree or not, but Africans, we're still colonized in our mind. And that's why every single time when something happens outside there, what we think about is, which side am I going to side on? Which side am I going to side on? And that's why I said, I do not agree with what Malema said, that we should always side with the oppressed group because we understand how to be oppressed. But for me, what I'm saying is, first of all, not all the time oppressed group are right. And if they're not right, then why should I side with them? No, I should always side with the right side. And how do I find right side? In any situation. It's not about being oppressed, that you're oppressed, then you're right. And you're oppressed, then you're wrong. It's not about that. So for instance, if you look at Africa, if you're looking at Africa case, oppressed group is Africans, right? Oppressor is these colonizers, right? So I should side with Africans because are oppressed. They were oppressed. No, I should think about this. Why Africans were oppressed? That's the first thing I should think about. Why Africa were oppressed. And when you go deep down to find the solution, you realize that it's because of ignorance. It's because we sold each other's out. We had chiefs, we had king who sold our people for money, for paper money, sold our God for paper money, and welcomed these strangers, and they colonized us. Who to blame? To blame this oppressor group who came and colonized us? Or we should blame Africans who sold our people and they knew what they were doing? I'm blaming Africans. So in this case, I'm not going to side with Africa, because otherwise I'm going to stay with my victimizing mentality, thinking that, you know, I was oppressed. Why are you oppressed? It is your responsibility to make sure that you're not oppressed. If you're oppressed, then there's something wrong with you. There's something wrong you've done somewhere. And when I think about Africa, we were oppressed and we're still oppressed today because of one thing: ignorance. And that ignorance is what is costing us. That ignorance is what is costing us. When the war like this happening between Palestine and Israel, we decide which side to group with because of our religion, and we forget that the right side to be with is Africa. Because in Africa, there's war happening. In Africa, our people are being killed. In Africa, our people are being tortured, like these Tanzanian men who have been killed. In Africa, our people are being brutally tortured, brutally murdered like animals. Actually, more than animals. Because sometimes they respect more animals than people. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I disagree with Malema. That I don't think that I should always side with oppressed group. I should find out why you're being oppressed. Why are you being oppressed? So for Africa, why is Africa being oppressed? Why Africa was oppressed? Because we decided to be oppressed. We open up our doors. If we shut down our doors, if we came together, because back in the days, Africa had strong kingdoms, man. You know, in Tanzania, we had this one tribe called Hare tribe. And these guys, they fought a war with Germans. We have this one chief called Mkwawa who fought with everything they got and kicked their butt off. They fought basically for the independence of this. This is just one region. They did not even have weapons. They fought their butt off to make sure that they kicked Germans off. They did that. We did that. Okay, you can go to Ethiopia. You see how those guys, they beat Italians off. And that's why it's the only country that were not colonized. They did it. And because they did it, they were not oppressed. So they decided, they choose that, you know what, we're not going to allow these guys to colonize us. So what? We're going to come together as one Ethiopia, and we're going to fight these guys, and we're going to beat them out. And they did it. They did it not once, twice, multiple times. They did it. They beat Italians, and they were never colonized. They decided, they choose not to be oppressed. It is the choice you make. If Africa is oppressed because we have decided to be oppressed. If Africa were colonized, it's because we decided to be colonized. If Africa today we are being killed outside of our continent, it's because we have decided to be killed. People, they're ready to sell their own people because of their religion. Man-made thing. Religion, man-made thing. I'm talking about Africans who are being killed with Hamas, and people, the only thing they're talking about is that, oh, you know what? Okay. Israelite, you know, Israel, they paid you. They paid you. You know, how dare can you say that? Do you know how many Palestinians have been killed? Do you know how many Africans have been killed by Israel? I'm telling you, anyone that kill Africa, I'm after you. Because you are not going to oppress me and I'm going to stay silent. I choose not to be oppressed. I choose not to be controlled. I choose not to be dominated. I choose not to do that, because the only job that God gave to a man is to be a dominator, to control, to take dominion of our own land. So I decide to take dominion over my own people. I decide to take dominion over my own land. And I ain't gonna let nobody oppress me. I ain't gonna let nobody kill my people. I ain't gonna let nobody. I don't care whether you're oppressed or you're oppressor. But if you come after my people, I come after you. And it's none of my business. Whatever that is happening outside of Africa, what matters for me with my mission and vision is what's happening inside of the continent. And that I'll fight until my last breath. And if you're an African, and if you know what is happening, you will stick up. You will stick with Africa. So I say, not always you should stick with oppressed group. You have to find out, why are we being oppressed? And I gave you an example of Africans. If we do not ask why, then we are not thinking critically. And we are going to make decisions based on our emotions. And we're going to be on the wrong side. If you ask why this is happening, and why this is happening to me, you'll find out reason and you'll be able to solve solution, because you cannot solve anything if you don't find the root cause for that problem. You cannot. You cannot. I don't care. You kill my people, you kill Africans, I'm coming after you. My fellow Tanzanian, Joshua Molel, my condolences to his family, because these guys have been waiting for 4 months after he was kidnapped. And the news is, who has killed them? Who was already killed? The video just came out 4 days ago. And somebody has a decency to film this guy being killed with knife, being stabbed everywhere, and be shot, dying there on the spot, defenselessly. He cannot say anything. He cannot do anything. He's begging for his life with these 5 men holding gun, holding knife, and just stab him anyhow, man, multiple times, man. This is how our brother left. This is how our brother died, man. And who killed him? Hamas. This is how our brother died. And you're here defending that? This is how our brother died. Think about that. Think about that death right now. Think about that. And whatever you say, man, if I had access, I'll bring here his father and to talk to him, to tell him that. You know, the matter, I know he might be in so much pain. The matter of fact, I would love to, I would love to talk to him, man. I'd love to talk to his family. Yeah, I'll find out. I'll find out, because, yeah, I used to have a friend from his family, so I'll find out. Be on the right side. And the right side on this is Africa. If we cannot stick with one another, if we cannot stand with one another as Africans, we lose this battle. Because Africa, you've always been a target. Your continent, your people, everywhere they go, everything they do, we have always been a target. But ask yourself, why Africa's always been a target? Always. This is my favorite question to ask. Why? And I tell even people that I work with that, okay, if you see me doing something, if you see me telling you something, before you reject, before you say anything, ask me why. Because there's a reason behind why we do what we do, why we say what we say. So if Africa is being targeted, ask yourself why. You realize that Africa is the mother of the world. Africa is where everything began. Africa is the beginning of civilization. Africa is where all the worth is. And so Africa has been targeted, not because they love Africa, but because they want a piece of Africa. I said in the afternoon that one of the people that are doing really well right now, and some of Africans are embracing them, are Chinese. What Chinese are doing right now, before, and I'm using their platform, you see them limiting me right now. Before, they had a policy for only 1 child, but right now it's 2 children. You know why the second child? It's because of the investment. They invest them outside of their country to Africa. So a lot of them are here marrying our people, having kids, mixed kids, who are speaking Africa just like Africans. So they come here, they have their babies, they become African. And majority, and there are a lot of them, they speak our languages. There's a Chinese band in Congo right now. Those guys, they sing, if you listen to them, you think are Congolese. And they're everywhere in Africa. Everywhere you find them. Man, these people have been strategizing for more than 50 years ago. And now Africa is under a lot of debt of Chinese. Not only that, but they have a lot of Chinese everywhere. And most of them, they speak our languages. So what is it going to happen after 10 years from now? Africa is going to be recolonized again by Chinese. And people say, oh, Chinese, they don't really interfere. Africa's policy. Do you know what they're doing on the ground? Have you been on the ground to see what they're doing? Have you been on the ground to see how they treat our people? Have you seen Africans how are being treated in China? Have you seen that? If you did not see that, then shut up and don't say anything, because we are at a huge risk. And I am concerned that we are too late right now. And the only solution for Africa to break out from this shame and humiliation and this colonization that never stopped is by Africans coming together and choose the right side, which is Africa. Africa is the right side. Instead of talking about other people's business, talk about how many people are being killed in Africa. Talk about how many people are being killed in Congo. Talk about how many people are being killed in Sudan. Talk about that war, because nobody's talking about it. Talk about it. Mention the numbers of people that have been killed here. And this man-made thing, this man-made stuff, religion, throw it away. You can have it for yourself, but don't let it control you, because that is man-made. And it was made for us to hate one another. If I am a Christian, to hate a Muslim person. If you're a Muslim, to hate a Christian person. But God is love. God is peace. God is unity. God is one. That is our God. If you do not have fruits of peace, love, and unity, you don't know God. You're just a hypocrite. We must have the fruits of love, peace, and unity. And we must focus on our continent first, if we want to have the bright future for our kids. What we're going through right now, I hope my kids don't go through this, because it's too much. It's too heavy burden to wear. Yeah, look at this. This is what I get. Are you paid by Israel and US? See, this is what I get all the time. This is what I get all the time. If somebody asks me that question, it's because you are being paid. It's because you are being paid. So you only project on me, you think everybody's being paid like you. Go see our contents, what we talk about. We share everything. We share everything. Because our side is Africa. Let me ask you, your name is Palestine right there. Let me ask you this. Are you African? Because if you're an African, even your profile there, Free Palestine, it'll be Free Sudanese. Because those are your people. Those are your people. You can't be hypocrite. Try to defend and stand for somebody who is far away from Africa and you're not standing for your people. Don't be hypocrite. First, stand for your people. You know, my side has always been Africa. My side has always been humanity. Human. I'm pro-human. Because God created a human before anything else. And everybody that has been created by God, I am for them. And anyone has no right to take life of anyone. That is full stop. War is a crime against humanity. So when it happens, I don't like it. I hate it. I don't want it to happen. But in this case, my side is African. When you kill my people, I'm going to come after you, Hamas. And I don't even care. So you say whatever you want to say. That's okay. Say it, because you're too naive. You're too naive to know what is happening right here. And probably you're not even African. So I'm not going to address to you. I am an African who gets insulted every single day by Chinese. All right. Our brother is here, sharing here. I am sorry that you're going through that. And they're in our continent. And we get a lot of loans from them. And we worship them here. Our governments, our politicians, they worship them. They keep taking money from them. And these guys are keep taking over Africa. And we're sitting here. Free Africa from Chinese. Free Africa from international intervention. Free that. Let's free our mind first, because this maybe we might not free from these guys, but let's free our mind first and stand for ourselves. If Africa wakes up today and stand together with one another, I'm telling you, these guys, they might be here, but they're not going to achieve whatever they're taking. African diaspora, you guys will come to the continent by force and take all of these resources, be in charge of these resources, hire our people. You guys, you have a capital, come in the continent, invest on those. Do you know, I went to the mining places here in Tanzania. Do you know who owns them? Can't find Africans, only leaders, only politicians, they're there. But the rest of them are not Africans. And even those politicians, there's someone behind them that is not African. So who owns your country? If all the gods in your country are being managed by them, they own you. Even if today the world decide not to print money for Africa, because even our money have been printed by them, Africa can still survive because we have resources. They need gold. So we can trade by that and we can survive. But you know what is sad is that no money, even gold, is not our own. They own it. They own it. They own it. They own it. Africans, please free your mind, guys. Education is everything. Decolonize your mind. Stop being there for other people and you forget to be there for your own people. First, start with your family. Charity begins from home. Start with your people. Stand for your people. Stand for your people, first of all. And then think about other people. But start with your people. Start home. If you do not take care of your home, you're a hypocrite. Taking care of others. Hypocrite. Well, some people they're asking, where did this happen? It did not happen here in Tanzania. This guy, 2 Tanzanians were captured by Hamas on 7th of October with other people that were captured. And this guy, 2 of them, all of them, being killed. Right now, this video just broke out 2 days ago. I mean, 3-4 days ago. And the government released a statement. Government released a statement. So if you are Tanzania, you'll understand that this is the pretty big deal for government releasing a statement about this. Because he was captured on October and he has been killed, and the video of him being killed is out there. You're asking why these Tanzanians were there. Let me ask you this. Where are you from? Ahmad Shah, let me ask you this. Where are you from? Let me talk to this guy because we need to be radical. Ahmad, tell me, where are you from? Tanzania, Mbagala. So why this? Then if you're here in Tanzania, then you understand. We have Africans all over the world studying. Some of them, they're there for work. This guy, he was a student there. And you know, you go to a country, for example, for me, I was a student in South Korea. Every single time that I was there for 9 years, there was always a tension between North Korea and South Korea. If war broke up between South Korea and North Korea, and I am there, are you going to tell me why was I there? You think I knew that war is going to break out there? You make it sound like it was his fault. He did not do anything wrong. It was not his fault. He was there for schooling. And it could happen to you, because if you're here, you could be in any other country. It could happen to anyone. And when it happens, when it's been targeted because he's African, because it's our people, we cannot shut up. And we cannot start asking why was he there? And why are you here? Oh, let me ask you this. I don't care whether it's Tanzania or whatever. Why are you here? Why are you here? You're leaving. He was there leaving. He was there schooling. We can't question those kind of questions. Absolutely. It is sad. And that's why my message is this in this, Ahmed. My message is this, Ahmed, is that Africans, we should always choose the right side. And the right side is Africa. We should always stick with Africa. When our people are being targeted because they're Africans, we should stand for them, no matter what religion you're coming from, no matter what religion I'm coming from. Anyone who is targeting my people, black people, I don't care who you are, I'm going to come after you, I'm going to condemn you, I'm going to talk about you, and I'm going to ask everybody to stand with Africans against you because you're coming after our people. Our people have been harassed for so long time, and it is because, and it's our fault, we have decided to be in that position. But I have chosen not to remain silent, and I have chosen to stand with my people, and I have chosen not to be oppressed. I've chosen not to be killed. I've chosen not to be humiliated. I'm going to live for Africa, and I'm going to fight for Africa. And if you come after my people, we're going to come after you, and we're going to stand against you. But what is sad is in Africa right now, people are siding with Israel, people are siding with Palestine because of their religion, because of what they believe in. And they do not look at the bigger picture and they do not see why our people are being also killed. If you think about that critically, what you're going to decide is this. What is happening there is their business. Our focus is what is happening in the continent. In Sudan, people are killing each other. In Congo, it's happening. In Ethiopia, it's happening. In Mali, in Burkina Faso, in Niger, it's happening. In Somalia, it's happening. Why not talking about what is happening in the continent? And why not defending our African brothers and sisters who are going through humiliations and killings outside of the continent? It's my message is very simple. That is my message. If you don't get that, I'm sorry, you'll not get anything. It's very simple, and I don't know. It's shame that I need to talk about this. It's obvious that our Africans must be on the right side, and the right side of Africans to be is Africa. It's not the oppressed group. No, it's not. It's Africa. Why are you oppressed? It's your fault for you to be oppressed. Why are you oppressed from the first place? Why? Africans were colonized. I'll ask you why Africa was colonized. It's the fault of Africans to be colonized. Because in the same continent, some Africans were colonized. In the same continent, some Africans were not colonized. If the entire continent was colonized, now I'll be like, oh, but Ethiopia was not colonized. Why was not colonized? Because those guys, they came together, stood together, and fought against those bastards. And they beat them, not once. Italians, they beat them. But in some of the countries, when we say we came together, some group of people came together to fight against colonizers, but some other group of people sided with colonizers. And because of that, we saw our people. Look at what happened to Patrice Lumumba of Congo. Mobutu Sese Seko, who was on the side, who was Congolese, he sided up with Belgian people to kill Patrice Lumumba. Look at what happened to Thomas Sankara. His best friend sided up with friends to kill him. Look at what happened to Libya, Muammar Gaddafi. Some people, even some of African politicians, leader, they sought with United, with NATO, USA, to kill our own leader, Gaddafi. Look at where Libya is right now. Look at Burkina Faso right now. Praise God that they have Ibrahim Traoré. This guy is bringing a lot of change. But look at Congo. Since Patrice Lumumba died, that country has never been stable until today. And our side, you see what happened? So if you Africans were colonized, the problem is not white people. The problem is you Africans who were colonized. Because they'll always look forward to colonize you. They'll always find a way to colonize you. You are the problem. You are the problem. We must admit that. And what is happening right now in the war between Palestine and Israel, between Russia and Ukraine, whatever, Africans, we still put our nose into other people's business and we forget about what's happening in the continent. That's why I'm against BRICS. Some people are supporting that, but I said BRICS is the destruction to Africa's unity. And I'll always say that because Africans, we should find our own solution to our own problems with our own money. We have money, we have resources, but we always look somewhere else to find solution, to find somebody like our big daddy, our sugar daddy, to take care of our issues. As a result, our people are being killed. You know, if you come to my space here, don't talk about genocide in Palestine. Talk about the lives of our people who are being killed in Congo. Talk about the lives of our people who are being killed in Ethiopia. Talk about the lives of our people who are being killed in Sudan. Talk about that, because this is Africa space. All right. And that is my mission, and that is my vision, and that's what God has given me to stand for my people, for Africans. All right. For Africans. That is my concern. My mission, it was not for the world. My mission is for Africa, and I'll stick with Africa. That's why I say one Africa right now. What we need is Africa to come together. We need a common passport. We need a common currency. We need a common army. We need Africa to come together. We need to break all these borders that we have. We need to come together as one people. We need to realize that before we are our country's people, we are Africans. And once we know that, once we realize that, we come together to fight against any enemy of Africa. When our people are being mistreated outside of the Africa continent, we stand up and we actually sanction them. If our people are being mistreated in America, we sanction America. We don't want to do anything with America here in the African continent. We side with somebody else. If our people are being mistreated in China, we sanction Chinese. We don't want to work with you. We're going to stick out the people. If our people are being mistreated in Russia, we sanction them. We stand up with our people. Anywhere, it doesn't matter. We must gain back our respect Because before we were slaves, we were kings and queens, but we lost our respect because we sold each other. And we are to blame. We are not oppressed group. We choose to be oppressed group. Nobody come to you to oppress you for nothing. No, you choose to be oppressed. Because if somebody comes to you and be like, you know what, can you give me a land? You know what, let's sign this contract, I'll get this piece of land, I'll be in charge of your minerals, you get like, 12% and, whatever, 7 to 8% will be for me. If somebody come to you like that and you sign that contract, you decided to be oppressed. If somebody to come to you with dollars and wants your gold and give you dollar and give him gold or give him these mining places, your fault. If that guy tomorrow start to oppress you, if you go out and ask for loans from China, from France, from US, and then with ridiculous amount of conditions that they give it to you, and then you sign those deals, you choose to be oppressed. And that's how Africa were colonized. And that's how Africans were taken from their own continent. And that's how Africans right now are being colonized and being killed everywhere across the world. If you don't get that, your mind is still colonized. Fix your own stuff. Exactly. Fix your own stuff. Talk about Sudan. Stop the war in Sudan. Free Sudanese people. Do you know how many Sudanese people have run away from their own country? They don't have their own home. Millions and millions. Some of them are here in Tanzania, schooling here. Millions and millions. And some of them, when they try to go to neighboring countries, they're not accepted because they don't have visa and passport. That's ridiculous. And there's a war happening in Sudan. Talk about that. What about that, eh? S, let me tell you this, S, you do not know history. Go and start history. All right? Go and start history first. I'm telling you this, guys, I started history about everything that is happening in Israel and Palestine. But I don't talk about it because it's none of my business what is happening there. I don't choose side because it's none of my business what is happening there. We have a lot of problems happening in Africa, and I choose to side with Africa. I choose to solve issues that are happening in Africa. So you keep sitting there and saying nonsense. First of all, you don't even know history. Your comment here, you don't even know history. Your comment here is you don't even know history. So don't talk to me if you don't know nothing. You don't know history. Go and start history of Israel and Palestine and then come talk to me. Because this is the ignorance I'm talking about. The biggest problem, the biggest issue in Africa is ignorance with people like you. You have people like you typing, you have internet and you have smartphone typing something like that and you don't even know history. Go and start history first of all, because you are the reason why we are colonized Africa all the time. You don't even know history and then you come here talk to me. This is not your space. Somebody said, did you hear about sex trafficking of Malawian women in China? Man, these are things that I'm talking about. These people are here on the continent mistreating our people and they are recording. We see them in the videos and we say nothing about it. And we hear talking about nonsense. Talking about nonsense. Man, our people, black people are being mistreated everywhere. Do you understand that? You get that? And why we're being mistreated? Because we choose to. We choose to. Let me tell you this. Don't be naive. Nobody likes black people. Nobody loves black people. Nobody care about black people. Some people, they say, at least Chinese, they're building us infrastructure. Let me ask you this question. When Africa was colonized, those colonizers, what did they do to Africa? They build infrastructure. They build railways. They build roads. They build airports. They build schools. That's what they did. But why did they do that? Because they wanted to colonize your place. They made it illegal for you to learn your own languages. They made it illegal for you to learn your own history. They made it illegal for everything. You had to be exactly like them. You're white people, you're black people, but you're acting like a British. You're acting like that. That's what they did. What do Chinese do today? They build our railways, they build our roads, they build their schools. In every single universities in Africa, they teach Chinese, and our people are learning Chinese. They teach their Confucianism culture. They teach that, and their people, they're learning our language. They become our people here in the continent, and we still take on their money. Do you think you're not colonized? Let me tell you this. We might not even finish 10 years. Africa will be completely colonized by China. Because right now, our finance, our economy has been colonized by them. So talk about that. And there are a lot of them in the continent. They have a policy of 2 children right now. 1 child is for Africa. Tell me about that. Do you know that? Do you know that? If you don't know that, don't talk to me. Do you know that? because my people are perished because of lack of knowledge. Get knowledge and get understanding. Find that first. Find knowledge, find understanding, and then once you find that understanding, you'll realize that where Africa we are right now, it's a very dangerous place. Very dangerous place. And the only solution is for one Africa right now. That is the only solution for Africa to wake up. If we have 1 million, only 1 million of Africa who wake up, and I understand what I say, Africa will never be the same again. And why are we being hated? Why are we being targeted? Why are we being censored? Because of this message. Once we get the knowledge, I'm telling you, poverty, I'm telling you, diseases, they're going to vanish because we're going to know how to take care of it. We're going to know how to deal with them. But ignorance is what brings us here. Ignorance is what makes us siding with other countries because of their religion and forget about our own people. Let me tell you this, man. As my people, we have a WhatsApp group. And when this war broke out between Palestine and Israel, I shared the message that said, guys, nobody should talk about this message in this group. I shared that. And then people, they're like, no, man, this is happening. This might affect Africa and all those stuff, this and that. And I said, all right, guys, I give you 24 hours. You talk about anything that you want to say about this thing. Plus, we'll do a live stream about it to talk about how does this war affect Africa. After that, we're going to close this page and never talk about this again. You know why? Because we can choose either to talk about their issues and leave our issues alone, or we can focus on our issues to strategize ourselves, to think about the next war that is coming to Africa and how can we survive as a people when war break out in Africa. Because I see, and I'm saying this, man, sadly, I don't want to see this, but I see, sadly, I see all other nations coming together to fight against Africa. I see it coming in the future. And it's scary. I see it coming in the future. All other nations coming together, organizing together to fight against Africa. How did colonization come to Africa? All of them, they gathered at Berlin Conference to divide Africa like a piece of cake. I see it happening again for the second time. I see it happening. I see it happening. Everything that is happening in this world, it happened before. I see it happening. And if Africans were not going to awake right now and be one and not repeat the mistake of the past that our forefathers did, Africa, we are going to be recolonized again. 10 years is too long if we're not yet colonized right now. So when our people being killed outside of the continent, you should make as much noise as you can, regardless of your religion, regardless of anything, because your first side should be Africa. If you claim to be an African, stand with Africa. If you stand with anybody else, you're not African. You don't deserve to be African. You don't deserve to be called African. And you are illegally in this continent. This is not your place. Oh my God. Let me tell you this. What do we have right now? Somebody says, I'm right about something is coming, but not colonialism. Let me tell you this. What do we have right now in Africa? It's neo-colonialism. Our Africans, we do not own our own economy. Our economy is being mastered, is being planned, is being controlled, is being done by somebody else. Is that not colonialism? Why is sanction coming to us? See how Zimbabwe struggled for so many years. See how Eritrea struggled for so many years. See how Uganda right now is struggling. Why? Because they just stood against LGBTQ and they are being sanctioned. Is that not colonialism? Is that not being controlled? So you don't see colonialism happening? It's happening already. Okay, see where do we get the money to build our roads and infrastructure? Who is building them? Chinese. Who is building our universities? Chinese. Who is building all these big tall buildings that we celebrate? Oh, we have these good buildings. We take a good pictures for Instagram, for Twitter, for everything. Who is building them? Chinese. Is Africa not yet colonized? Oh, Africa has always been colonized. Look at what Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali realized, that we were never independent. They realized today, and they came together as one, and look at what is happening in that side. West Africa is awakened. I hope Nigeria will be awakened soon as well. Because that country, if it's awakened, the entire West Africa will be changed. You understand that? Africa is colonized. And sadly, people that were also mistreated in the past, they're colonizing Africa. Chinese. Chinese. Chinese, man. And I'm using their platform here, and I talk about them. So the right side for you to be on is Africa. Side with Africa, people, for God's sake. When Africans are being mistreated, if they don't have their voice, that's why we call ourselves, we are the voice to the muteless. This, our brother Joshua Morel, who has been killed by Hamas, right now he's under the ground, under the feet. And we are the only one that can defend him. We're the only one that can talk about him if we think that his blood matter. Some nonsense people are coming here in my space to talk about what the heck was he doing in Israel. Look at that mind. Some nonsense people coming here to talk about I am being paid by Israel to talk about this. Really? Did they kill my people? Yes, he's killed. Like my people is being killed and they have to pay me. To pay me like who? To talk about that. Pay me? Talk about it? You really believe that? Look at how many people are watching here, 52. Like they'll pay me to talk about this to 52 people to listen to this. Come on, guys. This is what break Africa. This is what colonizers did to Africa, to turn us against each other. What I'm talking about is me as African to stick with Africans, and then you think that I'm being paid by them to talk about this. Being paid to tell Africans to come together? Really? You know they don't want Africa to come one, and you staying there believing that I'm being paid to tell Africa to become one. For what purpose? What are they going to achieve if Africa become one? They're not going to humiliate Africa. They're not going to exploit Africa. So will they pay me to do that? Come on, man. Come on, man. I can't talk to small minds. That's just how nonsense. That's just how our people think. And I love my people and I love Africa. But my people, we must be honest with ourselves that we are too colonized in our mind, that we can't even think straight for ourselves. The only thing we care about is what is going on outside. Oh, free them, free them. I don't care about them. I care about my people because my people are not yet free. Even you who are studying free whatever, are you free? Because I think just the act of doing that, you're not free. Because you're doing that because of your religion. And what about your people here in the continent? You have nothing to do with? Like you have the next country next to you, people are suffering and struggling. You don't talk about them. And then you talk about people that you don't even know, you never even met. Come on, man. Let's cut this nonsense. Let's cut this ignorance. We must be decolonized. Let's throw it away, all this kind of mindset. We must stick with Africa. That's the right side. Charity begins at home. I will talk about the rest of the world when Africa is stable. But Africa is not stable, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be stable tomorrow because of people like that. Appreciate. Yeah, some people, they are on the side, on the right side. So I appreciate you guys. Appreciate. Somebody says Ethiopia and Eritrea need to stand together, not destroy each other for the West. Exactly. This is what I'm talking about. Why do you have to fight with your neighbor? Why do you have to fight with your neighbor African? Why all the time we are turning against each other because of someone else? Why? Because we're always concerned on what's happening on the outside. We always care, believe, and trust them more than each other. Africans, let's come together right now. That's what I'm saying. That's my message. Let's come together right now. Let's come together right now, Africa. Let's stand together right now, Africa. Fight for your motherland. If you don't fight for your motherland, nobody else will. If you are happy that the next country is being destroyed. I'm telling you, colonizers will come there, will land there, and the next country will be you, because these guys, they're never satisfied. The only solution is by us coming together and protect our motherland. Anyone who wants to come here must do what is right by the people of Africans, not by the politicians, because most of them are sold out, and I don't believe them. I don't call them leaders, are politicians. And the time is up. It's time for Africans to stand for Africans. Do you understand that? It's time for Africans to stand for Africans with Africans, for the change that we need here in the continent. So whatever, my side forever. Okay, I quote, Africa, let's come together. That's what we say. One Africa right now. And by the way, guys, we have a petition. If you haven't signed the petition of One Africa right now, go and do it. It's in the description of this video. You understand? It is in the description of this video. One Africa right now. Go there and sign that petition. It's very important, because we need One Africa right now. We need our people to come together to defend what is happening to our people outside of the continent in the diaspora, and to defend what is happening within the continent in our countries, and to stand together as people to say no to all the sold out politicians, and to stand against them, because it costs the lives of our people. It costs the lives of our people. And we cannot allow that to happen. You understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? We cannot understand that. We cannot allow that to happen to our people. Absolutely. Africa is the right side. That's what I'm talking about. Some people they understand this. Yeah, David, exactly. Guys, sign the petition. Is in the description. Please sign the petition. When we came up with this petition 3 to 4 months ago, 2 months later, Kenya announced that they're going to remove visas for all Africans. And then Rwanda followed out that they're going to remove visa restriction for all countries. And then right now, Zimbabwe and Zambia, they came together and they removed the visa restriction between them. So it's the progress, and that's what we need for the entire continent of Africa. A united Africa, one Africa right now, as soon as possible. And our side should always be the side of Africa. I do not care about your religion. I do not care about my religion. I do not care about anything, because it's man-made, and I care what God says. God wants us to live in love and in peace and in unity with one another like brothers and sisters. The first commandment is to love your God with all your heart and with all your mind, with all your strength. And the second one, to love your neighbor as yourself. And that's what I stick by. But what the religion says, oh, love the people on your own religion, from your own religion. That's what religion says. That's why we keep fighting these battles of religion. If you don't believe in what I believe in, you know what? Oh, you're out. And that's the battle. And that's what is happening. It's sad that Africa is siding with this country because of the religion. This country, it's ridiculous. Side with Africa, because we have a lot of things going on in the continent, and we need to solve these issues, and we need to solve these problems. Jahma say, I ponder why are we as Africans so in love with oppression? Man, I said something very difficult here today, and some people do not understand. I mean, I don't know if they did not understand. I said, man, the statement that the person that I really admire, and if anyone says this, I'll be against them. The person that really I admire, Malema, that Africa should always side with the oppressed group, I disagree 100%. And I gave an example that if that's the case, what if the oppressed group are wrong? And I will give the evidence for us as Africans. Africans, we were oppressed. We are oppressed today. We were colonized and highly oppressed. But whose fault is that? Why we were oppressed? Why? I need to find out why before I stand with anyone. And if I don't not know why, I ain't gonna stand with anyone. I need to find out why Africa were oppressed. If I found out why Africa was oppressed, I can give you an example. Congo, because Mobutu Sese Seko turned against his friend and sold his brother and killed him. It's because the best friend of Thomas Sankara turned against himself with the colonizing, they kill him. Because some of our forefathers sold our people, and our people right now are in the diaspora and Caribbean and all over the world. So why were we oppressed? Because of us. We are the reason why we're oppressed. And I look at this one country in the same continent we have, Ethiopia. They decided not to be oppressed. They said, we're going to fight this bastard, and they're not going to take over our land. Not once, twice, 3 times. They beat them. They kicked them out of their land. And that country, as a result, it was never colonized. So whose fault was that? If Africans decided not to turn against each other, come together as one, and fought those guys who came to take over our land, Africa, when it would have been free until today. Nobody would have taken Africa away. Berlin Conference, it would have happened, but Africa, we're never going to be divided if Africans decide to do that. So should I side with oppressed group? No. If I don't know why, I'm not going to side with oppressed group. I do not going to fight with oppressed group. That's why I highly disagree with that statement. And I think we should really think critically in every single thing we hear. We can't just be naive to listen to what I'm saying right now and agree and take it with you. No. It might sound good, but we must think critically. Why? Why? Because if you kill my people and you're an oppressed group, should I side with you? Heck no. Heck no. That is the victimizing mentality, the thing that I'm oppressed. I am not oppressed. I will never be oppressed. I was never oppressed. And I decide me and my family, we shall never be oppressed. And I decide me and my people, we shall never be oppressed. I decide that. I decide that. I ain't going to allow anyone to oppress me or my people. I made my choice. And I will never be oppressed. I will never victimize myself, and I'll never be oppressed. I will take over dominion, because that is the only task God has given me. Genesis 1:26. Therefore, God created a man with his own image. And he created, and he told him this: go and take dominion over the birds on the skies, the fish in the seas, and everything that run around the grounds and under the ground. Go take over dominion. I decide, I choose to take over dominion, and nobody is going to oppress me. I say no. Even if everybody else around me decide to be oppressed, I will not be oppressed. I will say no. I'll refuse that. I say no. It's not going to happen. So I think all Africans should decide that. Should decide not to be oppressed. If we decide that, you see, yeah, yes, I am paid 100%. Because I disagree with what Malema said. I love Malema, man. I met him 1 month ago. I love a lot of things that he said, and I stand with him, and we support him here at Swahili Nation. And I think he should take over the government in South Africa the next term, I think. But I do not agree with everything he said. Yes. And I do not agree with everything he said. You understand that? Yes. And it's okay. If you support someone, it doesn't mean that you should agree with everything he said. PLO Lumumba, my African daddy, he, you know, PLO Lumumba, my African daddy. Okay. PLO Lumumba, my African daddy, he's the best friend with Malema. They're together, but they don't agree with the agenda of LGBTQ, and they're still working together. That's what Africans should always think. But just the fact that I agree with you, just the fact that I support you, doesn't mean that I cannot disagree with you. I think for myself. Whatever you say, I don't take it and act on it and be like, okay, this is true. No, I think for myself. Why? Why is this statement being said, and why should I agree with this? No. When I see my people are being killed, I look at the title. Hamas group killed 2 Tanzanians, and one, the video just is out right now. Hamas group. They should be accountable. They must be stopped. If you target my people, you must be stopped. And that is simply because you're coming after my people. Or you did that to my people. Am I exaggerating this? Well, let me tell you this. If you have a kid and they kill him, will you not think like me? Will you not say like me? I love Africans. And I hate when I see Africans oppressed. Because I know this is how it happened, colonialism, and this is what is continuing right now. And I'm going to shout as much as I can at top of my voice to work in my people. So for those who can hear and see my point, they'll get it. For those who cannot hear and see my point, they won't get it. They won't get it. You understand that? So appreciate it, because you know the problem that we have with Africa. Africans are very emotional most of the time. That if someone says something good, something great, we just overpass everything. We overlook everything. And that's why we have constantly been picking the wrong politicians coming to the government and leading us. And as a result, when they come, everything changes. And we remain the same position we are. We don't think critically. We don't look at the policy. We don't look at the reality of how are you going to deliver these issues. We don't look at that. We don't have this critical root cause analysis and just analyze things that how this is going to happen. How are you going to do that? But as long as someone says something we like and we love it, we just say, okay, yeah, this is good. This is going to happen. No, I'm telling you, I'm not that kind of guy. I analyze myself. I ask myself why, and I sit down to think about it critically. Our brother Joshua Molel, he was kidnapped on 7th of October, 2023, and I did not say a word until today. Do you understand that? And do you know why? I did not say a word then until today. Why? Because I was finding why. I was finding why. I'm not acting right now emotionally, but I'm acting to something that has really happened to our people. And if you're an African and you wish good for Africa, you'll ask yourself why. And you go on Twitter and look at that video of him being killed and ask yourself twice. Your fellow African. Yeah. And to be honest, guys, I'll tell you the truth. Ever since I started this journey of defending and standing for Africa and fighting for one Africa right now and decolonization of the mind, I've been having people that are supporting that, and I've been having people who are opposing that, and it is okay. It is absolutely okay, because I am a free thinker, and I love the fact that we can disagree to agree. And I love the fact that people can say, no, Mika, for what you say, no, you're wrong. I love that, because that challenges me, and that pushes me to think even deeper, all right, about what I'm saying and what I'm going to say. I love it. I enjoy it. But I love having those conversations. I love talking about that. I love having those people and just debating with this conversation, with these ideas. I love it. And you're welcome to do that. But if you come from the angle of your religion, if you come from the angle of oppressed group, if you come from the angle of victimizing yourself, I ain't gonna have this conversation, because it's already wrong angle. Because I believe we're responsible for everything that has happened to us. And Africans, it's a time for us to take responsibility to everything that has happened to us. If we do not take responsibility, we do not see the problem, we do not see where we fell. And if we do not see where we fell, we're going to be recolonized again. And if we are not yet colonized right now, and our kids are going to be in the same mess we are in today. If we're not going to analyze critically, our kids are going to be recolonized, and we're not going to do anything about it. I need to charge my phone. It's about to die. All right, and we need to get out of here. So we need to think about these things critically. And I urge you guys, let me just read a couple of the comments before I end this session. Can you help me this to put it here? Can you help this to put it here? Can you help me to put this side? Your chair is there. All right, so let me see some of the comments here before I get out of here. And I love this conversation, man. You guys, if you know that my conversation is always like, we always have this conversation. For example, me being against BRICS, saying that BRICS is a distraction to one Africa. People did not misunderstand. People, they did not understand me. They say, hey, look at this guy. He's already being paid by Americans. Always is like that. Okay. When we're talking about Ethiopia, what is happening there, the accusation was the same thing, that this guy is being paid by these people. And now I'm being paid by Israel. So always, so man, imagine how rich I am, that I'm always being paid by people to be their speaker, you know, kind of person that I'm being paid by anyone to talk about them. But one thing that you see consistent in what I do all the time is look at what I talk about. I always focus on my mission and my vision, and that is one Africa right now. And that is my consistency. And if you think I'm being paid to promote that, That's you know, the matter of fact, Africans are paying me. The matter of fact, like just you watching here, you're paying me. So shout out to Africans, man. And let me tell you this, man. Anyways, let me just don't even talk about it. Decolonize our mindset. Exactly. Patricia, it's good to see you. And that is the thing. Africa must be decolonized. If we do not deal with our mindset, we are not going to change anything on the ground. Our mindset is the big problem. Our mindset is very toxic, and is what allowing everything that is happening to Africa continue to happen even today. If we do not eradicate this poverty of our mindset, then we are not going to see a change anytime soon. If you're not going to agree on that, then we have a long way to go. We have a long way to go. We have a long way to go. Yeah, you know, some people are very let me tell you this, guys. Let me just advise you this. Even you guys, when you listen to me, I don't want you guys to agree with me with everything I say, but I want you guys to think critically for yourselves. If your thought is that he's being paid, you're being lazy. It's very easy way out to shut out somebody without thinking critically. Think critically about what I say and come up with something solid. Otherwise, and Africans, you guys are very smart. You must know that. The Africans are very smart. You guys are very smart, more than you think. So you can't afford to be shallow like that. All right. Anyways, let me read. We never picked a politician. They pick themselves or fight for power. That's all I see until now. Actually, it's true. Daniel, you're very true. You're very right. It's very right. It's very right. You know, as much as, you know, we hate what Obama did to a lot of things, you know, he said something in South Africa recently, and he was like, you know, we can't just say that our countries are democratic governments if, I mean, running, like you're running for the government, then you get 90% of the votes, while your opposition leader have been locked up in prison while election happening. We can't say that we're democratic people. We can't say our countries are democratic. And what he says, it's very profound statement, because that is what is happening in our governments and in our countries. They elect themselves, politicians. We still don't have leaders. Yeah. You know, if the ECOWAS were not all a bunch of corrupt, brainwashed puppets, they could sink the West with one powerful move. By abandoning all of them, we would never have to worry ever again. Exactly. And you know, the bigger picture of that. Okay, look at this guy. The bigger picture of that is that we need one Africa. Not only these small groups of West Africa, of East Africa, because we can have all these bodies, but if they're not working together towards the United States of Africa, then we're losing a war. We're losing a war. You understand? Africa must break the chains from the colonizers, 100%. Okay, let me see here as well. We're live on TikTok as well. So guys, just I believe. Okay, let's see. I agree with you. One Africa being united, but how? Okay, all right. That's a good question and a solid question. We have a petition called One Africa right now. Go. The link is on our videos, on our YouTube videos. If you go to YouTube, type Swahili Nation, you'll see the links is in the description. It's, you know, it's called Sign the Petition right now. Go and read that petition. Then you'll understand this is how we unite Africa. Okay, because I've been talking about that for 3 months plus right now. So go on the description of this video, find One Africa right now petition and sign it. And after you sign, you realize, I mean, read it first of all before you sign. Read it. You must read it. You must read it. First of all, read it and sign it, and then share. Or if you don't like it after you read it, don't sign it. It's not must. Okay. So it is say at you, pretty much you're not an African, so I don't really mind. You keep commenting all those flag and whatever, I don't mind. You're not African. If you're African, you should have said here, free Sudanese people. Mika, I am 68, and in the US, I am proud of to hear young voices boldly speaking out for Africa. My ancestry was traced to the Yoruba in Nigeria, but I support all of Africa, one Africa now. I appreciate that. Yes, that's the spirit. That's our spirit. It's you and a lot of our people out there. Um, and I'm not the only voice. We have a lot of young, as you say, young individuals who are speaking boldly about Africa, and we're all over the world and all over Africa, and it's just beautiful, you know. How can Africans change their mindset with a corrupt education system? Recognize the danger by having a thorough analysis of our action, taking into consideration history. All right, to be done. I think this is how we decolonize the mind. First of all, we must know what is going on. First of all, we must know what is going on. That's the first step. If we know what is going on, second, we must find out why this is happening, why it's going on. If we know what is going on and why it's happening, then the next step is what can we do about it? What can we do about it? What can we do about it? Then if we deal with that, I think we'll be able to decolonize our mindset. So if you know what's going on, if you're informed like this, then you'll find out why this is happening. When you trace back, you realize why this is happening. Just in that process of finding out what is going on, why this is happening, and what can I do, that is how you decolonize yourself. That is how you find information. That is how you get knowledge. That is how you get understanding on the situation that is happening. And from there, you find people like me. Because I was not, the matter of fact, I hated history because I always felt like history was on, Africa was on the wrong side of history. So I hated it. I never liked history. I just started to like history 4 years ago when I started this mission. But I never liked history before because I feel like Africa, man, history is always bad to Africans. Why? A few individuals who wanted to look that way so that we may not start history. And I started to find out that I did not start these things in school. I never started this in school. Thank God, by his compassion, he gave me love for my people. And I started to find what is happening, why is happening, and what can I do. And that was the birth of SNOA and what we're doing here. That's how you decolonize our people. What is happening, why it's happening, what can I do? That's it. So, but there are people who are finding what is happening. That's it. Oh, they feel sad. Oh, this is happening. Okay, we're being oppressed. Oh, all right, this and it's not a victimizing mentality. Some people, they're ending up is what is happening, why is happening, and then they just end there. But how are you going to solve it? What can you do? What's the way forward? I always say this: as long as you see the problem, you are the solution. And there's definitely not problems. I believe there's not really problems because all the problems I see them as opportunity to do something. If I complain about what is happening in Africa, that means there's something that I can do to change that. So instead of complaining and wasting my time, with time is life. If you waste your time, you waste your life. I would rather focus on what can I do to not complain, because complaining is not even good for my health. History is good, but the right history. Exactly. And I'll tell you the truth. Most of the time, you'll figure out the truth when you follow your instinct. Instinct never lies. It's that still small voice inside of you that is saying something. Never lies. Never lies. We just need to learn how to remain calm and how to think in the silent group. Sadly, a lot of Africans, we like noises. We like entertainment, so we don't really have time to think for ourselves. We like noises, we like entertainment. That's why the most famous people right now in the continent are musicians, are celebrities. And those are the role models of our kids, who their lives, I don't have anything against anyone, but their lives are just not, they cannot be the role models of our kids. All right. Otherwise, the next generation is going to go under like a deep hole. Those are the role models of our people. Those are the leaders, because politicians are not playing their role to act right, to do what is right, and to change your mindset. So if you cannot fight for yourself, if you cannot find what is happening, why it's happening, and what you can do, you're going to end up staying here and criticizing me, and while I'm still living, and I'm living my purpose. Oh yeah, we need to start educating through our music. Absolutely. At least those entertainments, I hope. I mean, that's the reason why I connected so well with Ethiopia, because the music in Ethiopia, 99.9% is about patriotism, and it's about Ethiopianism. And that's why I well connected with that, because I believe it's really nice to remind our people, if our people are going on the direction of that, then we have to give them the entertainment that can educate our people, right? And musicians can do that, but they don't want to do that because they see there's no money there. A lot of us, we just obsessed talking about girls, talking about drugs, talking about all these beefs, and that's kind of society that we're creating for the future. And I don't want that to happen. I decide not to that. It's a time for us to return to our basics, to find what is happening, why is happening, and what can we do to change that for the sake of our people. All right. Hakuna Matata, there it comes. The copycats of Western cultures. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Marit. Thank you, Sherry. That's a petition right there, guys. You can go ahead and sign. Our team member right here, just share the link in the comment section, and so go and sign that one. I ain't gonna be here for a long time. Let me pin here. Thank you, team, man. Thank you, Reggie. Thank you, Sherry. That's the link there. Sign up for that petition. It's gonna be amazing. All right, guys. So let me know what you think in the comment section. And RIP to our brother Joshua Morel and his family, his entire family. And I highly commend. I highly. I forgot the name. I forgot the word. I love it. I love it. Shout to Ethiopia. Oh yeah. Okay, let me see if there's any other comments before I leave. There is an Afro-Palestinian in Jerusalem. Can we leave it alone? I don't even know what you're talking about. Afros are everywhere. There are people when they're killed, they're being killed. That's my concern, and that's what I'm coming after. Absolutely, Reggie. You know that One Africa unit now is a must, because the European planning for war on Africa in the next generation. Africa must build a strong military defense now. You know, what I think is this, and let me share this. I think Africa's unity and Africa's prosperity should not base under fear or pressure of anyone else, but we should just come to an agreement to realize that we need to serve our people, and we need to protect our people, and we need to care for our people. When we begin to care for one another, and when we begin to work for one another, then everything else will pay it off. That's what I believe, and that's what I want it to happen to our people. And that's why I advocate this. So hopefully you guys who are listening here, you're with me on that. One Africa now, we speak to the prophetic wind of Ezekiel, whether the devil likes it or not. Oh yeah, absolutely. So our brother Joshua Morel and my dear brother, rest in glory, man. You did not deserve to go down the way you went. Your blood matters a lot because it's African blood. And I'll speak about you, and I'll stand for you. And this is only motivation to stand for the rest of Africans who are being tortured and brutally killed outside of the continent. And I'll not shut up no matter what. All right? So I choose not to shut up, because today is him, tomorrow it might be me. And I ain't going to let that happen. If it's going to happen, let it happen while we're speaking. Let it happen while we're fighting on our feet, not on our knees. We ain't gonna bow down to the devil. We're gonna stand up and fight the good fight and defend our people at all costs. And stand against anyone who is going to kill our people. No matter who is that. We're going to stand for them, and we're going to stand with them. So Africa must be on the right side, and the time is now to wake up. And the right side is Africa. Thank you, MG Pro. I'm with you. I've read and I've signed the petition. That's good. The next step, share with somebody. Share with somebody. Yeah, share with somebody. Brother, God bless you and give you strength. God in your life. Thank you. Amen. Thank you. All right, guys, we need to leave here. So we need to leave here. I'll see you guys later. Let me just bless you one moment, and maybe I'll come back later to go and talk about this. God, I thank you for today. Thank you for this session. First of all, we thank you for the life of Joshua Morel, who has been killed by Hamas. And we just pray for the peace, for the comfort to his family. And we pray for the rest of Africans. In your precious name, Christ, I pray. Amen. I'll see you guys. See you later. I got to leave now. We need to get out of here. All right, guys. I'll see you later. Okay?